We're almost ready to start, but before we do, just a couple of little safety points. Ventilation is really, really important while you're painting, so make sure that you always have doors or windows open and that you've got a good cross draft through the area that you're painting in. The other thing is that if you have pregnant women or infants in the house, try not to do your paint job now. Either move them out for a wee while or just do it all later. You'll get about 14 square metres per litre coverage out of a tin of acrylic interior paint like this one. This is a 4 litre tin, so you're going to get about 50 to 56 square metres coverage out of it, which is all very well, but how do you work out how much you need? There are two ways to do this. One, measure the perimeter of your room, multiply it by the height, include all the doors and windows, don't take them out. This will give you your square meterage, and from there you can work out how much paint you're going to need to cover it. If, however, you're like me and you can't do sums to save your life, Bunnings have a fantastic paint calculator online, so just log on and it'll do all the work for you. When you're painting, the aim of the exercise is to get the paint on the walls, not all over yourself or all over your equipment. So I'm just going to show you a few quick ways to work cleaner and work more comfortably. First, we're going to deal with the paint. I'm going to open it with my handy little gadget, and we're going to mix it and pour it without spilling it everywhere. Then we're going to use the gorgeous paint stirrer to mix it thoroughly, make sure all the pigments are mixed through. So if you just lift and swirl, it's like mashing potato, and keep doing it until you've got a really lovely creamy consistency in your paint. It's not separating at all. Pouring the paint. The trick with this is that we want to pour it without it all running all down the sides, and then hold it steady, ease it off, and just catch the drip as you go. It's a bit of a bore having to reopen your can every time you need to fill up your paint tray, but it's not nearly as boring as having to mop up 4 litres of spilt paint. To keep your tools clean while you're working, your roller, you'll notice, has got a little hook here. Hook it over the back of the tray when you're resting it so you don't get paint creeping up all over it here. Keep your brushes rested up here on this end of the tray, and if you need to clean excess paint off your brush, do it on the side here. And remember, always keep your tray under the ladder where you're not going to step in it on your way down. As you can see, I've run a little bit of masking tape along the floor here. I'm doing it for two reasons. One, obviously, to protect the floor, but the other reason is that there's still a lot of grit and dust around, and you really don't want that sticking to your paintbrush because it'll ruin your paint job afterwards. So this keeps the floor protected, and it also keeps your brush clean while you're working. Okay, we've painted our trim, it's dried off, and now the last thing we need to do before we start painting our walls is to mask the top edge of the skirting boards. We're going to use low-tack painter's tape for this, and just ease it carefully into the corners, work gently and press it down as you go. If you're wondering why I'm not folding the tape down as I go, it's to leave a little veranda or shelf just to protect the skirting below from any spatters or drips that might come from the wall above as we go. How you treat your picture rails is a matter of personal taste. I've decided that I don't really want to make a feature of them, so I'm going to paint them the same as the wall colour. It's the same colour and it's the same sheen. However, if you choose to make a feature of them and you want to paint them a different colour or maybe a gloss finish, you would do that at the same time you were painting all the rest of the woodwork. So I haven't done that, we're going the wall colour. Like skirtings, we're talking wood, so you paint with a brush in the direction of the grain. And it's just going on beautifully. Sometimes along the top edges of picture rails you might need to just tap the paint on and then smooth it out with a long stroke. Don't bother about trying to get down behind the picture rail because it's always full of dust and dirt no matter how hard you try, and nobody is ever going to see it except you next time you paint the walls. As you can see, I'm cutting in as I go here. So we'll just use the stippling brush